Good afternoon, everyone. Today I'm here to address a critical issue affecting millions of children across the globe: the treatment of ADHD, particularly the widespread use of the stimulant Adderall or Ritalin. Now, throughout this speech, you will probably hear me use dextroamphetamine, which is the generic version of Adderall, and also methylphenidate, which is the generic version of Ritalin. Now, did you guys know that 6 million children in the US were diagnosed with ADHD? 6 million, that's a ton of kids. And a significant number of them were undergoing medical treatment, or they were given Adderall or Ritalin. So let's get into it. Is ADHD even really a thing? I'll give you more of my thoughts on that a little bit later down the line, but we'll talk more about the risk right now. So some of the huge risk that methylphenidate and dextroamphetamine can cause are: you have insomnia, which literally defeats the whole purpose of, ADHD. You want your kid to slow down some so they can focus. And then you have appetite depression, or appetite suppressant, my apologies. And you have cardiovascular issues, which all of these things, they pretty much go against what it's supposed to do, essentially. Like what ADHD is, or ADHD. But yeah, so there are some behavioral issues that can come out of this, long-term brain development issues, especially when you're giving this to a kid that's 5 years old. That's what I was, told, that you can start giving children, methylphenidate and dextroamphetamine at the ages of 5 and up. Oh, by the way, guys, I do work in a pharmacy as well. So a lot of the information is just, things that I know, things that I've, taken in, this knowledge in general. But yes, do I believe that a 5-year-old should be taking dextroamphetamine or methylphenidate? No, not even close. Honestly, I don't even think adults should be taking it. Our bodies are made to function how we need them to function. We don't need anything that help us hyper focus on things, So just, kind of just thinking about it in regards to how they give it to children, how they, divvy out these meds to, these children from ages 5 to 17. It kind of breaks my heart a little bit, truthfully. And most of the individuals that are diagnosed with ADHD, most of them are male, which would also lead me to believe that it has something to do with testosterone levels. But that's another talk. I'll probably get into that at some point later. Maybe not. And then you have the overdiagnosing of the drug. So once you get to high school, a lot of these kids will start to overuse these drugs. They'll quote unquote lose them. They'll end up trying to sell them, which is going to cause us more and more issues, later down the line. And that is just a whole nother monster in itself. But personally, it really comes down to the doctors. It really comes down to, how pharmaceutical businesses are ran, just in general. No, I can't speak on that. Like I said, I am with the pharmacy, but I don't have much knowledge on what goes on the back end. I just do my job. But yeah, I believe that there's a different approach that we can take. One of the biggest approaches, I believe, is to, get these kids more active. Get these kids more active so they can, work off some of their energy. Get them away from the phone screen. Get them away from the TV screens. Get them outside doing something active. They have to do something active where, they'll be able to have that real life focus, that real life discipline. I believe that there's actually a correlation between kids that have ADHD and their lack of discipline. Once again, that's another talk. But in other words, that comes from me saying that it starts at home. It starts with mom and dad. It starts with big brother, older siblings. You know, help your younger sibling. You know, just slow down some. Get them in competitive things. You know, competitive sports. Something that can keep their mind, you know, kind of just flowing. If their brain is moving and their body isn't, there's going to be that, you know, there's not going to be a real synergy. There's not going to be a real synergy of how, you know, you're supposed to be operating as just a human in general. I mean, we are meant to move around. We are meant to, you know, be doing things. We are meant to focus on many different things. We have to. If we're just focusing on one thing in general, I mean, that's gonna create a lack of awareness, you know. So my whole take on it is like, we have to mitigate the risk and just the usage of, you know, these meds on children, on these children from 5 to 17. And like I said, I mean, I mentioned earlier in the speech that I believe it does have to do with testosterone to a certain degree, being that, you know, these things are diagnosed more so in boys and young men than, you know, girls and young women. But that's just a thought on my end. You guys will get some some information in my my PowerPoints and things of that nature. I do appreciate you guys listening, and let's really protect our children. Let's really protect our children. Some of you guys may disagree with what I have to say, and I understand. I mean, we can just agree to disagree. But I don't believe that dextroamphetamine, aka Adderall, or methylphenidate, aka Ritalin, I don't think those things are necessary for any person. Let me rephrase that. I don't think they're necessary for a person that's in their right mind. The average person, most people, essentially. I don't think it's necessary for most people, generally speaking. But yes, I appreciate you guys listening. Thanks a ton. And how do we fix this? How do we fix this? Me personally, like I said, I believe it starts at home. Let's help our kids. Let's help our children.